Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now let's have some fun. Here is your host, Johnny Radio.
Yo. Welcome into a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio, hanging out with Brian Dacus. It is a Super Tuesday or a big fat natty Tuesday. Congrats, Michigan dropped Washington like a bad habit, 34-13 last night. You know we're going to break down the national championship game. We're going to talk about Michael Penix Jr. Did he hurt his stock? Jim Harbaugh, is he bouncing? And think about go all the way back to the loss in the semis last year for Michigan in the TCU football game and where they are a year later. It's all got to feel good for all Michigan fans and Michigan supporters. And, of course, Jim Harbaugh. Thought some of his comments were interesting in the post-game presser. You know, he talked about how great it feels. I like it. I love some of the things he said. It just feels good. I just want to pull it down. He's a very interesting character. Also talked about the off-field issues and says, we were innocent and stood strong and tall. We knew we were innocent. That's his quote. So he talked about that. Innocent, they didn't commit real crimes. But we'll talk about the 3-game suspension for a cheeseburger, Connor Stallings, Michigan, and is Harbaugh bouncing? Is he heading maybe down to Atlanta? Maybe the Chargers. Everybody seems to think it's the Chargers. Is he going to come back? I'll give you a few reasons he might not want to come back. They're very, very sad and selfish reasons. Not something that maybe a competitor like Harbaugh would do. Again, this guy started off the first 6 years of his career at Michigan. No Big Ten titles in the first 6 years. And in the last 3, my man has won 3 straight Big Ten titles, has beat Ohio State 3 consecutive years, gone 40-3, been to the college football playoff all 3 years, and now has a national championship. And this team was very special. But next year, and again, in NIL, you can replace anything. You know, Michael Penix Jr. is going to be replaced by Will Rogers next year.
That's right. He was at the game last night.
There's it's made Bo Nix, who was in college for 15 years and was left Auburn and then went to Oregon. He's gone, and they replaced him with Dylan Gabriel. You got to love the transfer portal. You got Walker Howard, who's going to Ohio State, and also Quinshon Judkins. The only thing is, it's a little late in the process, but a lot of guys still out there. But does Jim want to replace his quarterback, his running back 2, his wide receiver, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, all 5 offensive linemen? They're gone. Half the defense, at least half a dozen defensive starters. So this team that won the Natty will not be next year's team. Not saying that they can't go out there and do it. But I'm just saying if there's any time to leave, you will never be higher on the totem pole in Michigan. Again, 3 straight college football playoff appearance, 40-3 in the last 3 years. And it was just 3 years ago, before he went on this run, that they took that cash back. That people were talking about, this guy, they're going to run him out the game. They're going to run him out of Michigan. Shoot, I remember when he got the job, one of the first things he did, he went and smashed a Buckeye on somebody's grave. I would think it would be Howard Schnellenberger, but I can't remember exactly. That's who it probably was, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Anyway. Isn't he the great Michigan coach?
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm not the greatest Michigan.
I'll be honest, John. I've been trying to tweet out your shit, so I haven't been listening.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't even worry about that. Do your job over there. I was just thinking about BS off the side. But anyway, we're talking a lot about the national championship. Michael Penix, all that good stuff. Then we still got to talk about some sad stuff because we're going to talk college football at 11:30, big time with David Cobb from CBSSports.com. 12 o'clock, we'll talk with Zach Boyd. Ja Morant is done for the season. Take it, everybody's now looking and seeing what future draft prospects are now coming to the Grizzlies.
Yeah, that was the argument last night of do you tank and draft somebody, or do you
Man, what do you mean tank? You don't have
trade?
to tank. Without
Yeah,
Ja, they were
tanking.
6-19 without Ja.
That's right.
6-19 without Ja. Now you just lost Ja, and all of a sudden they're going like, oh, you know what? We just didn't need him we needed him the first 25 games, but we good from here.
Well, I guess tanking wouldn't be the right word, but I guess the argument has been, do you draft somebody with a top 10 draft pick, or do you trade it and try to get a veteran or something like that? I don't know.
I don't know. That's a great question. I'll leave that up to somebody like maybe Zach Boyd or people out there. I need to reach out and talk to Sane and be like, hey, man, what do the people want?
I think Sane
He is the tribal chief of Grizz Twitter.
And I only saw bits and pieces last night, but I think Sane is on the draft somebody train. But I don't want to put words in his mouth. I know he was kind of going back and forth.
You know what? I'll reach out to him and then I'll let him put his own damn words in his own mouth.
That's a good idea.
Or your mouth. Ooh, gross.
No,
you don't eat on his words.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. Plus, again, for Grizzlies fans, it's just been a rough year. At least we had a few great moments. We had Ja getting the game winner in game 1. We got to win at home. Try to think. Oh, no, there's some good moments. Don't really remember that many of them.
I don't either, John.
Damn. Pretty forgetful season for the Grizzlies so far, huh? But we'll talk NBA at noon. I got some great Hardwood stuff. Oh, and don't forget, we got to talk super duper wild card weekend. I'm fired up. We got games, football games, playoff games, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We have to talk in Hardwood today at 12:30. I got, Jimmy Kimmel came out and took swings at Aaron Rodgers in his monologue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And doesn't Aaron Rodgers go on the McAfee show today?
I think so.
Man, I think so. Did he always come on a Tuesday?
I think so, John. I don't know. Maybe.
Dude, that was great timing. Now, he throws barbs. Aaron throws barbs.
That's right.
I mean, this is just great stuff. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is probably mad. And not like mad, but like the reason he was taking shots at Jimmy Kimmel and saying that he hopes he's on the Jeffrey Epstein flight log information or whatever the hell was released is basically, because I didn't know this, Jimmy Kimmel went on his show one day and talked about how wacko Aaron Rodgers was and how he's like got a man bun and he's a wacko for his anti-vax stance and his enjoyment of psychedelics and all that good stuff. So again, Jimmy did start it. Aaron, though, came up with some, I guess, very salacious things.
Yeah, you could say that.
Like, there's one thing saying, yo, you ugly.
Right.
You LGY, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly. You ugly. Did you ever learn that one when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Wasn't that great?
No.
That was great, man. What are you talking about? Did you ever hear the one, go back to the woods. Your team's got no spirit and your coach is no good.
I have not heard that one. That one's new to me, John.
Yeah, that's what Michigan was saying to Kalen DeBoer
Yikes.
last night. Damn, son. But we got wild card weekend. We got Jimmy Kimmel, Aaron Rodgers. Oh, Trevor Bauer has come out yesterday and swore off. He swore off rough sex acts. Do you think that
New Year's resolution?
He went on TV or some little girl's I don't know who she is. She's on Outkick the coverage, or is that TV or is that podcast stuff?
I don't know what hold let me look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Her name's like Tommy something. I mean, she's a good-looking blonde, but her name is Tommy. It's a girl. So if you don't get a girl, then you got the wrong Tommy. But he went on her little show.
Tommy Lauren.
He went on her show. And is she a sports person? I usually know the sports people.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess so.
Well, anyway, point is, he went on her things, and he's talking about how...
maybe not. I don't know.
Anyway, he's talking about how he just the
She
main
looks more
point.
political.
She does.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when I
I
kind
mean,
of
I'm looking
watched
at
the
her
clip
like
this morning.
previous podcasts. Her last one was with Trevor Bauer. The one before that was some USA boxing, and then it
so
seems
she
like
does sports.
Well, no, that's why I said it looks like she's sports, but then it seems like everything before that is political.
Oh, so she's one that left the political arena for the sports arena.
No, I don't think so. I think she just maybe dabbles in both.
Keith Olbermann should have stayed in the sports arena.
Yeah.
Too bad. Sometimes making that switch is dangerous.
So what did Trevor Bauer say?
And basically he went out there and said, he's sorry for getting himself involved with people who aren't going to make his life better. He made a conscious decision that, 2 hours of pleasure, and then all of a sudden, and then after that 2 hours, I just walk away and forget about it, is not worth my career, my business, my brand. And he said, so therefore, I am giving up rough sex acts going forward, period, end of discussion. Still don't think that.
I don't know if that garners.
Go, Trevor, go!
An applause.
That was a fake applause.
know.
That was people were like, okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm going public and saying, I'm gonna stop punching people in the face.
I mean, I guess it's good. I guess it's
I mean, that's a good thing. I'm just saying, the only thing that it would have been funny if he was like, listen, no more donkey punching coming out of me. You know what I'm saying?
I think, yesterday we were talking about Draymond Green, moving forward as a person and, being very mature. I guess, you could say the same thing about Trevor Bauer.
Hey, he's going to stop doing it. So do you think he hadn't pitched since 2021. Does he get a job in the MLB again?
No.
I don't think so either. It's not just because of that one thing. It's also because he's such an a-hole and has been such an a-hole his whole time, like in his career. Remember how, he drove people in Cleveland absolutely nuts?
He sure did.
Then, of course, then before that one big playoff game, the idiot's out there playing with his drones and cuts his finger when the night he's supposed to pitch. Like, in his opinion, he makes it very loud and clear. And usually his opinions are really wacky. He's baseball's version of he's a mean version of Aaron Rodgers in baseball.
Saw that coming.
Like, he's not doing ayahuasca and psilocybin and all kinds of stuff.
Well, we don't know that, John.
Well, you know what? He might be. You're right. I don't know that. I shouldn't cast aspersions, or I shouldn't say that the guy's not got any cool in him.
Oh, because that's cool.
Man, dude, I'm telling you, I love a little fungus here and there.
I know you did, John.
But, dude, that completely got me off kilter. Oh, yeah, Trevor Bauer. Now I'm off the subject. Draymond Green also mentioned some stuff about him. So we have a ton of things to talk about. But now it's time before I talk with David Cobb. I got to bring up a few things about the Michigan win last night. Have you seen a national championship game in a long time with worse quarterback play? I mean, because I have not.
I have to think about it.
Michael Penix Jr.,
He didn't look crisp.
who was lights the bleep out against Texas, who has been lights out basically all season long, looked terrible. Now, he took a beating by that defense at Michigan. He took some punishment. But there were so many wide open throws that this guy makes in his sleep. And he was missing it. He threw it over Odunze when that dude was going for a touchdown for show. He overthrew. He made bad, coming out of halftime, the first throw. And I know that the lineman stepped on his ankle and he got rolled up. But before then, if he would have if you look down at your check down, he's just standing wide open in the middle of the field, 5 yards right in front of him. It was a bad read. It was a bad decision on the first play. I guess they were trying to make a little something. Held on the ball too long. It looks like he's trying to throw the ball, I would think, out of bounds towards a receiver. Doesn't get quite enough on it as he's getting stepped on. That interception was huge. Huge.
Well, and John, if he wasn't making a bad throw, his receivers were dropping passes. If his receivers weren't dropping passes, his offensive line was getting called with a penalty. I mean, it was just something all night.
Not only that, or if there was a tightly contested ball, Michigan got away with about 4 defensive holding in that ball game that were just blatant and terrible. And then Washington on the biggest play of the game. 42-yard completion.
Coming on back.
Coming on back. That was the worst holding call I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
That was freaking terrible. I'm not blaming the refs. This is the John the dummy gambler who had Washington and was about to get back in this dead-gum game.
Well, here's also dummy Bryant that was just cheering for Washington and was just mad that, I mean, it seemed like every single time Washington had a big play, there was some sort of call bringing them back. I mean, it was ridiculous.
It was I'm not going to sit here and argue with you and say that you're absolutely wrong. I looked on Total Sports, that one little place I like. I think it's Total Sports. Hold on, I'm pulling it up real quick because I got that junk. I've never given them credit. It's like a terrible website in most aspects because it's usually about some stupid stuff that I enjoy. Total Pro Sports. Damn, that was hard for me to figure out.
Well, you got it.
TotalProSports.com. It's got a bunch of dumb stuff. But they posted, basically reposted in quotes, are the refs rigging the national championship for Michigan? And they posted underneath it thousands of tweets that had, people with taking video clips showing Michigan on their 2 touchdown runs, blatant holding.
Interesting.
By the way, let me tell you something. After me going down the rabbit hole for 3 minutes, I was like, it was rigged.
Well,
John, that was just me angry and very heavily Tito.
And I'm not blaming the officials at all.
I'm not either.
Michigan's
defensive line was unbelievable in that football game. I thought the secondary was going to be exposed, and they should have been. But Michael Penix Jr. just didn't have that game. I don't know if he was pressing. He never got comfortable in the pocket. He didn't feel the pocket as well as he did against Texas. And again, the very simple throws, he just missed them. And he just made some bad decisions.
So, John, you mentioned that little website, whatever it was questioning the officials. I also had questions after that game was over, and I would like to share them with you if I may.
Oh, please.
These were the questions I had right after the national championship was over that just came to my head. First off, does Connor Stalions get a ring? I mean, I think he deserves one more than most anybody. I mean, what he did for that program.
My favorite tweet last night had to do with Connor Stalions.
Did it?
And it
was he at the game? He was at the Rose Bowl.
It was him trying to get into the Michigan locker room after they won the Natty.
That's hilarious.
And it was showing this dude freaking out and pulling on these doors, and his legs on the side of the wall. And he finally pulls it. And he pulls it so hard that he breaks it's a window.
That's
all window and glass comes falling.
That's
on him.
Hilarious. I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
I think he deserves a ring. The question is, does he get one? My second one: did the and this might be a question for David Cobb. Did the University of Michigan put up its basketball program as a sacrifice to win the national championship? Because John, this Michigan basketball team is pathetic.
Are you talking about you have to sacrifice something to be a champion?
Oh yeah, and they sacrificed their basketball program. Whoa. I mean, from top to bottom, that basketball program, not just on the court. Off the court, it's a mess.
They're a wreck off the court.
I mean, I think that might be the third one. Did Washington throw the national championship game for the Big Ten? John,
because
they're
moving
joining
to the Big Ten.
Exactly, John. What does the Pac-12 have to give them? Maybe, John, I don't want to point to any certain Colts. Maybe you know which one I'm talking about. But some, before you get in, you got to give them a little something. You got to do a little something. You got to show them that you're worthy of joining the club. Maybe the Big Ten met up with Washington, maybe the president, maybe the athletic director, maybe Kalen DeBoer before the game in a hotel room and said, look, we want to show if you're really about the Big Ten. You go out there, your team, your offense that's been all dominant all season long has the worst game it's ever had in its life. Michigan wins, Big Ten gets the national championship. You come in and we give you a little some on the back end.
I like these conspiracy theories.
Thank you, John.
I do. I have to say they're pretty good, but I will say the lack of J.J. McCarthy was 0 for 4 on third down in the first half.
That's right.
Were
they toting that rock.
That was in the first quarter. The second quarter, the third quarter, and 6 minutes all the way up into the fourth quarter. That defense for Washington, you got to tip their cap. They kept them in the game, they gave an opportunity over and over over and over and over to their studly, high-powered offense, which could not just make a play. They just never got the big play that they needed. Boy, did they have some opportunities. Man, talk about, like, you're telling me that, remember, like, one time I was trying to tell you, oh, well, that was Jay, never mind. He always says size doesn't matter. And in football, I tell him, no,
it's the motion of the ocean,
It's the motion of the ocean. But I say size does matter because it's a game of inches. If you had a little more size and a couple more inches, you could have made some of those plays. Felt bad, though, for Washington fans because after the first quarter, you were just wanting to cry and scream and not have any more. And then in the second quarter, you had hope. By halftime, you were believing you were getting the kickoff. Then at the very beginning of the second half, Michael Penix Jr. rips your heart out right when the second half opens up on the first play by throwing that pick. But then your defense comes up stones again and just puts Michigan 3 and out, stopping them over and over again. But the offense never did it, like never could get it done. And, of course, I mean, damn, dude, they were right down there. Like, they were right there to tie up the game. And just couldn't get it done.
Yep.
And also that damn holding call when there was defensive pass interference, when there was defensive pass interference in the end zone or that long throw.
And they held.
And then they also called a holding penalty against Washington. Oh, man, I keep talking about them refs.
Well, and then the interception he threw, he had, I think, McMillan on the left side, one-on-one.
No, it was a Dunze one-on-one, and he takes it all year long. But that time, it's like, man, I don't know what Michael Penix was doing.
He was in pain. I mean,
I was also right about one thing. J.J. McCarthy did nothing. I told you he hadn't thrown. He had one game in his previous 5 games where he threw over 200 yards. 140 yards, 10 for 18. It was.
He did have that clutch run though in the fourth quarter.
Now that was a clutch run that led to a punt 3 plays later.
That's true, but I mean, better
it
field
did back
position,
them out of
John,
the end zone, which was huge, and they got a good punt off. Man, we're going to talk about more of the national championship. We'll talk some college basketball. David Cobb's next on Sports 56 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
From brilliant to beautiful, we've heard lots of words used to describe the Sissy's Log Cabin experience, but we think one sums it up best: extraordinary. Here, you'll find an unparalleled selection, impeccable service, and an experience that makes you feel like family. Shop online at sissyslogcabin.com or stop by one of our 6 locations. Find your trusted jeweler for a lifetime, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs, is bringing you an offer that'll make the playoffs electrifying. New customers, listen to this, can bet $5, that's it, on any game and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, and then please use the code HERD to get this offer, H-E-R-D. New customers, bet $5, that's it, to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. With the code HERD, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Call 800-215-2418, 800-215-2418, 800-215-2418.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go. So Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. 2 final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation, and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio, hanging out with Bryant Dacus. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. It's cold, it's wet, and Washington was terrible, especially in that first quarter. But, man, that defense kept momentum. The offense could never make those plays. It was tough, man. There were a lot of calls called that were, people were questioning, but when you have the losing side, you're going to be like Taylor Swift. You're going to be a sore loser. Do you know why Taylor Swift is now a sore loser in my mind, Bryant Dacus?
Why is that?
Did you know that she lost to Barbie in the Golden Globe Awards on whenever the hell that was? Was that Sunday night?
Yeah, it was Sunday night.
Sunday night. Most people were watching football, by the way.
Your former producer texted me a rant about the Golden Globes yesterday. So.
Oh, my goodness. I bet he did watch that over football.
Did.
Oh, that's so sweet. I miss Jay, dude.
No, I actually don't think he watched it because he calls it a fake award show, so I don't think he watched
okay.
it.
Well, she was at the awards, and then after they gave the award to Barbie over her Eras tour, she left.
Wow. We should ask David what he thinks about that. Should have the Eras tour have won over Barbie? Barbie's a good movie.
I hadn't seen either one of them.
No, I haven't seen the Eras tour.
But I'm a
Barbie's
sore loser
good
like
movie.
Tay-Tay this morning. Very upset.
Because you had Washington.
Because I had Washington, and they broke my heart in the first quarter. Then they gave me hope for 2+ quarters, and then it just fizzled and died, and God, I was right there to cover. I was right there, man. What's up, Cobb? How you doing on this Tuesday?
I hate to say I told you so, John, but I told you so. All right. So for those of y'all who don't know, I guess you were listening when I was on with Brett and Bryant yesterday, and I was saying I'm going Michigan. I'm taking Michigan against the 4.5,
Sure
and
did.
then you texted me, and you were making all this case for why Washington was going to get it done, and then
I was wrong.
I'm sorry, man. I hope you didn't go too hard on that one because Michigan covered and then some.
No, I did not. Actually, and to tell you the truth, the great thing about sports today, at least sports gambling, back in the day in the third quarter, you couldn't call your bookie and be like, "Hey, let me cash out of this thing." You know what I'm saying? Last night, after say it right at there, 4 minutes left in the third quarter, they offered me like 60% of my bet back.
Yeah.
I took that junt.
Well, Washington had a chance there.
They had too many chances. They had so many chances, and after after the debacle at the end of the first half, after the opening of the second half, after their defense was playing so good, I just said to myself, eventually this dam's going to break. This defense can't go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Michigan's going to bust one, and it was actually a pass play that worked, and that's what busted it open. But yeah, so cashing out made me feel good. Now if Washington actually came back and won it, I would have cashed out. I'd be mad about that this morning. So I guess I made the right decision. I feel somewhat good about it.
I mean, you did. I think there's a scenario where Washington covers that spread. I know you look at the final score and it's 34-13, and it kind of feels like Michigan dominated. But Washington was just ever so slightly off with some of those precise passing plays that they used all season long to enter this game undefeated. And against Michigan, they were just ever so slightly off. I mean, I flash back to the fourth down play in the first half when Kalen DeBoer rolled the dice, and Michael Penix had Rome Odunze wide open, and he just missed him, overthrew him just a bit. And if Washington completes that pass, the game complexion of the game changes completely. Another fourth down play later on where he had Odunze down the sideline, just barely overshot him again. And then the running back dropping one out of the backfield.
Oh, God, for the first down. That was made me want to cry.
They had their chances, man. I mean, I know some people are just going to do some box score scouting and say that Washington didn't belong on the same field as Michigan, but if Washington converts some of those plays that they hit on all year, then we're looking at a totally different ballgame.
I will tell you, there was a point in that game after I cashed out where I said, damn, why did I do this? They're going to go down and tie this thing up, and now Michigan, who hadn't had any pressure on them all night, and J.J. McCarthy, oh, my God, he's going to pop. But and it didn't happen, so I was very happy with my decision. But again, like you said, Washington fan first quarter. Like I sent you a text, I think right at the end of the first quarter, and I was like, "It hurts, please make it stop." And it was like some person in serious pain. I thought it was going to just get out of hand. But man, are you surprised that Washington's defense was able to I don't know how you go from what happened in the first quarter to playing just stones. For
they
3
got
quarters
together.
plus.
I'll tell you who stood out to me was that the linebacker
number 8,
Ulafashio. Yeah,
I can't say his name.
Yeah. So, but on a fourth down play, Michigan went to the air. Michigan was leading 17-3 in the second quarter. They had a 4th and 3 in Washington territory, and if they convert that, they're going to run the second quarter clock all the way down, and then probably score and make it 24-3. Well, Ulafashio is matched up on Michigan's fastest receiver, Roman Wilson, and he makes this insane play to deflect the ball out of bounds and give Washington the football back.
He
and
came
Washington
from the defensive line where it looked like he was going to blitz, which is even more impressive for him to be able to get out there and cover that.
That play made him a lot of money. I'll say that, and it led to Washington getting a touchdown. I think that play right there was a 14-point swing. So. Yeah, actually, the Washington defense impressed me quite a bit. And like you said, eventually they got worn down, and Michigan went back to the run and punched in a couple of scores late. But the Washington defense kept the Huskies in the game because the offense just wasn't in sync. And I didn't know that they were going to be able to do that, especially with the way the game started, because Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards were just running wild in the first quarter, but Washington got it together, and they looked to me like a team, like a program that will actually be able to compete in the Big Ten next season. Unlike last year, TCU, they got trounced in the national title game. They come back and they have a terrible season. Feels to me like Washington's going to take a step back, of course, losing Michael Penix, but could still be a really competitive team next year.
I mean, Will Rogers is going out there. I mean, that's what's great about name, image, and likeness. You lose a Michael Penix, and you can replace him with now, a 4-year starter in Will Rogers. I mean,
yeah, SEC all-time leading passer.
Yeah, all-time leading passer. I mean, it's not like when Michael Penix went to Washington. He was a higher, more thought of, I think, than Will Rogers. You know what I mean by that? Like, Michael Penix was good when he was healthy, but he was often injured. He wasn't wanted by as many people, I feel like, as Will Rogers was this year. But I think Michael Penix exceeded what his ceiling is and is definitely a better pro prospect, et cetera, et cetera. But, damn, I'm like, Will Rogers is no slouch.
Well, the difference between Rogers and Penix, because you're right, Penix was like damaged goods when he went out there. But he had been he had worked with Kalen DeBoer before at Indiana. And so they had that relationship. They knew each other. Penix knew what DeBoer wanted to do. DeBoer knew how to set up Michael Penix for success, and so it worked out. With Will Rogers, I don't think there is that familiarity. Like, obviously, he played with Dylan Johnson at Mississippi State, and that helps if Dylan Johnson comes back. But, there's just not that system familiarity. Like, it's not the same system that Mike Leach ran, that Will Rogers played in and put up all those stats in. Like, Washington throws it a lot, but they throw downfield a lot more than Mississippi State did under Mike Leach. So I'm curious to see how that one works out. It's one of about 25 different quarterback moves that are going to be just like, we're going to turn on the TV in first week into September and be like, wait a second, Will Rogers plays for Washington and Dylan Gabriel plays for Oregon and all these
Will
guys.
Will Howard and Quinshon Judkins at Ohio State. And
so weird, man. So weird.
It is. It's a wild world at NIL. Now, by the way, one other thing, because I always make mistakes. Lola Fascio was number 5, because I got it written in my notes, because I wrote, could be huge swing in the game. That number 8 was that cornerback who was making sick plays all night long as well. That secondary was good all night long. Washington's defense was good, but Michael Penix Jr. was just off. How much did he hurt his stock last night? Did he go from a first-round pick to a second-round pick?
I mean, I think he probably should be a second-round pick all along. It was apparent to me that the Michigan pass rush affected Michael Penix Jr., even if the sack totals.
He only had one sack. He just, getting in his face, he didn't like it.
He didn't like it. He's you can tell there's a little bit of a battle scar there with Michael Penix Jr. because of all the injuries that he went through. He gets credit for getting the football out fast. And his offensive line gets a lot of credit for not giving up many sacks, but I think some of that is Michael Penix Jr. being uncomfortable in the pocket. And when you play against a Michigan defense with that front 7, you're going to be uncomfortable in the pocket almost every play. And he never looked comfortable back there, and he looked like he was rushing to get the football out. So even though Michigan's sack numbers weren't that high, I think their pass rush had a tremendous impact on the game because it forced Michael Penix Jr. to get the football out before the routes had developed, before the cuts had been made by his receivers, and he didn't look comfortable extending the plays with his legs or standing in there and risking a hit. And I don't blame the guy because of everything he's been through, but that's something I think NFL scouts will take notice of.
Now, speaking of the NFL, is Jim Harbaugh heading out the door and going back to the National Football League, or does he actually return to Michigan?
I don't know. Did you see him with Scott Van Pelt last night?
Can I enjoy it?
Well, he said something interesting. He was like, for spring ball this season, we're going to push it back a little bit, kind of just saying that they needed a little time to recover from playing into January and all the
3
preparation
years of
that
playing
came
into
with. January
now.
Yeah, and so to me that was kind of like, okay, he's thinking about the future at Michigan. He's game planning for what's ahead. I think he's back at Michigan because this is a Michigan man through and through. In fact, I think he had a quote last night after the game that basically, like, when they lower me into the ground, I hope they'll say that I was a Michigan man. Does that sound like somebody who's just chomping at the bit to go take the Patriots job or whatever? I don't know. I guess
there's always a lot of smoke and fire, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, again, Jim Harbaugh is a guy who does hold. I mean, he wears people thin, and he also holds grudges. And it was just 3 years ago before he went on this amazing run where they were taking back money, and everybody and their grandmother was talking about running him out of Michigan.
No kidding. I mean, they were 2-4 during the COVID year, and he was not on the most firm footing. But he's done the most impressive, like, X's and O's actual program build, I think, of the college football playoff era because they've recruited great. Like, they've got talent, but it's not quite as much talent as what Georgia or Alabama or LSU have had over the past several years when they won their national titles. And so, I mean, he's proven himself beyond the shadow of a doubt. So on the one hand, it's like, all right, what does he have left to accomplish? But you have to realize Jim Harbaugh, even at age 60, is somebody who eats, lives, and breathes football. And so he's not going to get the Jay Wright itch to retire and go sit in the TV studio. In fact, he would be horrible at TV.
He would be the worst.
So I think he's going to continue on. It's just next season's going to be a totally different team. I mean, Michigan's going to have, 8, 9, 10 players drafted. J.J. McCarthy has a big decision to make. So that Michigan team next season is going to be totally, totally different. So maybe for a lot of coaches with the NFL track record and the roster exodus that Michigan would would be a sure bet to leave. And I know that speculation will be there until he signs a new deal with the Wolverines. But if I had to put money on it today, I'd say he's back in college football.
Back in college football. Is he going to have some of the same coaches around? I mean, he's got a lot of NFL coaches around him, NFL coaching around him. I mean, Jesse Minter did a great job. Sharon Moore, what he did. I mean, his coaching staff, is he going to be able to keep them all together? Or on the flip side, remember it was, 8 weeks ago that I think it was Paul Feinbaum who said that everybody at Michigan would be back because there's not another program that would ever hire a coach under him, Jim Harbaugh?
Well, you got to do your due diligence on the Michigan staffers right now, because we think that everything has come out and that the sign stealing scandal has kind of died down and is over. But you got to be careful, because if there's another layer to any of this, and it turns out Connor Stallions was involved with sharing this information in a verifiable way with some of those coaches, then they could get in trouble too. So, I mean, like somebody like Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator for Michigan, I mean, he's definitely a flight risk for the NFL because he has an NFL background. I'm pretty sure it was John Harbaugh who recommended him to Michigan in the first place. So guys like that, they get sick of recruiting. Like once they've been in the NFL and seen what it's like not to have to text 16-year-olds 24/7, 365, like that's kind of nice. So, I mean, I would say he's at risk. But as far as Sharon Moore, who a lot of people think is in line to take over for Jim Harbaugh, I'd be surprised if he goes anywhere, because most of the college openings have already been filled, and he's somebody who's could potentially be the next head coach at Michigan if he waits it out.
It was a fun natty, I will say. But it didn't look like it was going to be interesting at all. I do have to ask you, was this the worst quarterback play that you've seen in a national championship on both sides in a football game in a long time? I mean,
it wasn't
felt
great,
like,
man.
It felt like an old school, like just rock 'em, sock 'em, punt the football, play some defense, and play some more defense.
Yeah, J.J. McCarthy threw 18 passes, and I feel like that was about 10 too many. I mean, Michigan might have won that game by more if he'd only thrown the ball 8 times, because for whatever reason they just seemed to be insistent on working the pass and do it when Washington was having a lot of trouble with the ground attack, and he was not impressive. If that was his audition for the NFL draft, then maybe he comes back, because there was nothing in his performance that inspired any confidence. So that was, it wasn't the best, most offensively pleasing national title game, but at least it was more of a game than that slaughter from a year ago with Georgia and TCU.
Oh, amen. I agree with that 100%. And I do have to ask you, curious, because you know my thought yesterday when I text you, I can't say the type of words that I text you, but I said, JJ, he'll screw it up somehow. Think back to TCU. And then I said, basically, Mike's going to pick apart that secondary that, is not as good as – I mean, I think the front seven is one of the best. I think they have one of the best cornerbacks in the country. But collectively as a secondary, I thought they were a little overrated, because there was some openings. Just Penix couldn't hit anybody. It was weird how that game played out. It seemed like it was all about one thing, and it was about that deadgum offensive and defensive front of Michigan.
No doubt. I think you have to put this year's Michigan team in the same conversation with 2021 Georgia for best college football defense of the 21st century.
Ooh, that's a really good comparison.
Well, Georgia is going to finish slightly ahead. That 2021
they
Georgia
had more
team
NFL talent.
They did, and they finished slightly ahead, very slightly, in points per game allowed, because Washington got to 13 last night. But you held Washington, the best passing offense in the country, to 13 points and only 1 touchdown, and you got them off the field on 4th downs, and you made them kick field goals when they didn't want to kick field goals. And I know part of that was Dylan Johnson being hobbled and the run game not being a real threat for Washington, but the Michigan defense, it all works together, because that secondary, you're right, maybe it is a touch overrated, but boy, they sure look good because of the throws that opposing quarterbacks get forced into. Because of the pressure that the front seven gets, and it all works together like that. And that can go the other way too. If you've got a really good secondary that makes it to where there's nowhere to throw the football, then it can make your front 4, your front 7 look a lot better, because they end up getting home on the quarterback more. And so I think the front 7 is what drove this Michigan defense, especially in the postseason. But I don't see any evidence to suggest that secondary was was too overrated. I mean, they delivered 2 interceptions of Michael Penix. A lot of that was due to the front, but yeah, give that secondary their flowers too, man.
I'm giving them their flowers. What I was just saying, there were the plays to be made, and that was what I'm saying before the game. I would watch Penn State. Drew can't throw the damn ball. Watched Ohio State. Kyle couldn't get the ball to his damn superstar wide receivers. There were many plays to be made in that Ohio State game, but homie couldn't, wide open Marvin Harrison Jr. running down the sideline, and you overthrow him by 8 yards. Like, that's on the quarterback. So, I was thinking to myself that if there was any person in the country who could take advantage of that secondary and whose offensive line could give him just enough time because, quote, that offensive line was so great, I thought it might be Washington.
Yeah.
But, again, you got to tip your cap. That defense was nasty. Michael Penix Jr. was in a flux all night. And the offensive line for Michigan was also it was dominant, especially that first quarter. They were just blowing people out. And it was also a lot, again, to the coaching because they came out with some funky lineups in that first quarter, and you had Washington confused. They had to simplify everything, I think, after that first quarter and just start playing football because they were trying to move linemen here and linebackers and do all this. And you watch both times when they popped that junt, you had a very confused Washington front seven.
Yeah, well, I mean, Blake Corum barely ran the football on the first drive. It was Donovan Edwards and then the third-string running back, Talel Mullings, who were running the ball to start, which was not something I expected. And then, of course, they brought in the backup quarterback, whose name I'm not going to mention. And, he had a couple of nice productive runs as well. So Michigan brought the convoy in the run game. It wasn't just Blake Corum. He ended up with the most yards, but Donovan Edwards put the cap on what was I think a little bit of a disappointing season for him because he underwent surgery after last year, and I don't know that he was 100%. And so his numbers were way down. But my gosh, I mean, the dude was a hero in the first quarter for Michigan, and he and Blake Corum became the first running back duo since 2012 to go over 100 yards in the national title game. So I mean, that was what I thought all along about this matchup, was that Michigan would be able to impose its will on the ground against Washington and wear them down. And Washington found their footing in the middle part of the game, but the initial smack in the mouth and then the final blow there at the end, it was just too much.
It was just too much. David Cobb covers college football for CBSSports.com. It's time to put a bow on that, and he also covers college basketball. So next Tuesday, I'll be wrapping a lot of hoops with you, my friend.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's a college basketball only portion of the calendar now. I kind of like this time of year because
you can focus on one thing.
Focus on one thing. That's right. So plenty. Shoot, man, there's never any shortage of college basketball stuff to talk about with you because Memphis has a lot going on right now, man. That beat is a busy beat. The Tigers got a lot of news coming out every day, it seems like.
Dude, you ain't lying, man. It's hot, from the sad story with Caleb Mills that just breaks your heart to Mikey Williams to just what this Tigers team could do to bring in Naquan Tomlin. Penny Hardaway never he always keeps us with words in our mouth, I can tell you that much, David. I appreciate you. Everybody go read his work at CBSSports.com. Follow him on Twitter at David W. Cobb, and always listen to him right here every single Tuesday.
Man, I appreciate you.
Oh, by the way, I'm glad you're feeling better, homie. Happy New Year. That's DC. We take a quick time out. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I will not buckle to peer pressure and call Bell Tavern a sports bar. Bell Tavern, tucked away in Barbaro Alley behind 117 Prime, is a great bar. It's got the atmosphere you want in a bar. Not too bright, not too dark, not too quiet, not too loud, and it's got the ice-cold beer and the signature cocktails and access to the kitchen at 117 Prime. So Bell Tavern is first and foremost a bar, just because it happens to be the time of year when professional football happens to be having their playoffs, and yes, they'll be on the high-def TVs at Bell Tavern, but once again, Bell Tavern is not a sports bar entirely.
We all appreciate luxury. We love the newest technology. We want something that sparkles and looks great. Well, I've got it all in one place. It's called Genesis of Olive Branch, right at the corner of Highway 78, that's Lamar, and the first exit in Mississippi, that's Craft Road. Turn left and you will see Genesis of Olive Branch. And right now, you can get the 2024 Genesis GV70 starting at $49,480 with special financing as low as 3.49% on select models. How about the 2024 Genesis GV80? A little bit bigger, starting at $55,995, financing as low as 5.49% with a $2,000 rebate when trading a luxury brand. Call them. They'll even bring you a Genesis at your work or your home for a test drive. They're convinced that when you drive a Genesis, you're going to want one. Call 662-890-6684. Ask for Vinny. Genesis of Olive Branch.
Did you know some ordinary cold medicines can raise your blood pressure? That's alarming. Fortunately, there's Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure. It's specially formulated without alcohol, sugar, or decongestants to provide fast, powerful nighttime colds and flu symptoms relief for people with high blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure, try NyQuil High Blood Pressure. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, colds, and flu for people with high blood pressure medicine. Use as directed and keep out of reach of children.
This holiday season, give the gift of Gould's with a Gould's gift card for someone you love. It's the perfect gift for everyone. The Gould's gift card doesn't just send wishes, it grants them in store and online. Just come to any Gould's and pick up a gift card or go to GouldSalonSpa.com to purchase online. That's GouldSalonSpa.com. Happy holidays from Gould's. Gould's Salon Spa, locally owned and operated since 1932.
The only power source capable of generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity is a bolt of lightning.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. We've been talking about the NCAA National Championship. Oh, my Lord, my brain is gone. I'm really sad. I don't know if it was because I was sick last week. And I mean, did they say you have brain fog after being like COVID? Or I thought I had just the flu.
I don't know.
I got brain fog. Howard Schnellenberger. I meant Bo Schembechler. Thank you, by the way, Wola, who texted me that earlier when I was making a reference. But to recap Michigan's, championship run, these guys did it all. They won it all this year. They went 15-0. One of the best defenses historically, period. They are flat-out ballers. Congratulations to the Wolverines. Congratulations to Harbaugh, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I want to recap last year just for a quick moment. I want you to think about how wild of a year it is to finish 15-0 and to do what they've done. It's a very big credit to the kids, to the program, to the coaches, because it's wild. You think about it. They were such a big favor last year to TCU, and they lost bringing in the new year. Like it was that I thought after that, and you got to remember, right after they lose to TCU and everybody's killing them, Harbaugh starts flirting with the NFL. And then about, a few weeks later, multiple NFL-ready players from the quarterback to basically their whole offensive line decide to return, forego the NFL draft, and say they're coming back to Michigan. You don't hear anything about Jim Harbaugh going to the National Football League. Then the NCAA hands out the first of its 2-3 game suspensions. That's how they started the season. By the way, this one was so weak. This was for what? Buying a cheeseburger, if I remember correctly. He bought a person a cheeseburger in a day of NIL, NCAA doling out suspensions for cheeseburgers. Of course, then you had a terrible competition earlier in the season. They got through that. And then all of a sudden, Jim comes back, and we start hearing about man, I can't even remember. What's his name? Stallions, thank you. Connor Stallions. I wanted to say Stallions. Connor Stallions.
Yeah, tomato.
People start comparing them to the 2017 Astros cheating scandal. People are talking about should they be in the college football playoff committee's rankings. All that stuff. Everybody's going crazy on up and down every damn dial. Then all of a sudden, Michigan does what Michigan does, whips up on Penn State, whips up on Ohio State, makes it to the postseason. They whip up on Alabama. They whip Washington. And Jim Harbaugh's standing looking at the past year and like, damn, we just pulled that off. It's pretty damn impressive. But again, Michigan basketball, as Dake has said, they had to sacrifice the basketball team
Sure did.
for a natty. I think it's worth it, man. I think it's worth it.
John, I have breaking news before we get to a break.
Let me guess. Hold on. Let me guess. Is it a firing in the National Football League?
It is. Mike Vrabel has been fired by the Tennessee Titans. How about that?
Yeah, I knew that. I was going to close it out, but I love it.
Oh, you were going to close out this segment?
I was just going to say, and by the way, Titans fans.
I thought I was trying to help out.
Black Tuesday came a little bit early. Mike Vrabel was fired.
Huh?
I'm saying Black Tuesday. I mean, Black Monday came a little late.
There you go.
Again, I said I have lost my damn mind. And no, people, I have not been eating edibles. Maybe that's what it is. I need
Maybe
them.
it is. Maybe your body's gotten so used to them.
Man, I'm trying to give myself a break. I know I was reading Bazinga where it said that you should take off like maybe 30 days of ingesting edibles if you want to keep your, your tolerance at a good, good place. Also, like, take a couple weeks off smoking a little bit, by the way, people.
Health,
health.
That's right.
It's very important. Zach Boyd's on the other side. We're talking about Ja Morant's non-healthy shoulder and the surgery that's going to follow. He's done for the season. That's all next. Hopefully I find my brain. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkhammer, Sunrise Buick GMC truck. Going to start out the new year buying a newer used car and truck. Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Acres of new cars and trucks to choose from. A $5 million used car inventory of late model GM certified cars and trucks. And remember, Sunrise specializes in cars and trucks under $99.95. Don't forget, Sunrise has a financing plan for everybody and specializes in secondary financing. The #1 volume Buick and GMC dealer in the Mid-South. Sunrise, where saving you money is just the way of doing business, partner. Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswangerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Join the Sports Time crew of Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus this Thursday from 3 to 6 at Sissy's Log Cabin on Poplar across from the Oak Court Mall. Sissy's is celebrating their official grand opening of its newest store on Thursday, January 11th. Grand opening events begin at 9:45 a.m. and an official ribbon cutting takes place at 10 a.m. The Sports Time crew will be there from 3 to 6, so stop by this one-of-a-kind jewelry store. That's this Thursday from 3 to 6 at Sissy's Log Cabin.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Now back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
John, did you point at me while your rejoin music was still playing? Or while your introduction was still playing?
Yeah, I'm struggling, bro.
Just wanted to put that out there. A little peek behind the curtain.
A little peek behind. My brain has not been working very good. Is there Viagra for your big head?
I don't know.
Oh, I bet that'd be called Adderall.
It'd probably be just called something different. I don't know.
I mean, isn't Adderall kind of Viagra for your brain?
I guess so. It keeps it sharp, I guess.
I mean, maybe I need to reach out and get on some Adderall. I don't know if I can't even handle drinking more than 1 cup of coffee.
No, you almost died taking C4.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I don't think I'm going to stay away from that legal speed. Don't want any of that. Now, I'm going to try to talk into the microphone and give you all a radio show for this hour. Again, my brain is not working very well today. We did have a natty yesterday. Congrats to the Michigan Wolverines. A lot of texts coming in on Michigan. We got Michigan is probably the best tackling team I've ever seen. Oh, no, I've seen in a while. See, I can't even read. I'm a Bama fan, but, man, they can tackle. Other people, like my man Randy said, this is a serious question. What does cheating look like in the NCAA nowadays with NIL and all the payment of players, the transfer portal, basically constant recruiting over and over of your own team and other people's players? You know what, Randy? That's a damn good question. I guess if you buy somebody a cheeseburger, that's where you're cheating. And if you have an idiot on the sideline taking pictures of the other person's signals, but
also cheating.
That would probably, that just gets you in a little trouble. I don't think the hand stealing signals all that big of a deal. I think it was just a kind of a fun thing for everybody to go off on. But it is time to talk a little bit of basketball. We got a basketball game tonight. The Memphis Grizzlies, they're going to play Dallas. They had a unbelievable fourth quarter comeback in Los Angeles against the Lakers. An unbelievable fourth quarter comeback against the Suns. And we were thinking to ourselves, man, this Grizzlies team, man, now they got Ja back. They're going, Desmond Bane's going insane. Marcus Smart hitting threes. 2 games in a row where he scored, almost 30 points, was like 28 and 29. Just going nuts. Trips doing things. We were like, man, that's what we were talking about, man. Trips the man. Trip. Taylor Jenkins not screwing things up. And then all of a sudden yesterday, during the national championship game, I'm like trying to watch a football game. My phone starts blowing up. Oh my God, Ja's gone. Sad faces, tears. Grizzly fans. But yeah, Ja's got a torn labrum. He's going to have surgery. He is out for the year. And I'm bringing in my buddy, Zach Boyd. You hear him every single morning from 7 to 11. Zach, what's up with the Grizzlies, man? Is this a day where you just chalk this up to 2020, 2023's behind us and some of that stank from 2023 carried over to 2024?
Like, I am conflicted. Like, you don't know how conflicted I am when I saw the news that he was out for the whole season. Like, in my mind,
you thought he would, like, they were just the Grizzlies were being the Grizzlies. They were saying, oh, he just kind of hurt himself a little bit. He'll be back the next game.
Well, see, I operate on a different frequency than normal Grizzly fans. Like, I actually believe that the front office actually did their due diligence and take their time to give out information before everybody starts to hop on and start judging whether the Grizzlies ain't doing their job. I'm like, no, they're doing their job. It's just. And all organizations, they're just holding information until it's time. I just think that when I saw Ja with the sling on, I was like, that's odd. That's odd. But I didn't think much of it because they have done a lot of precautionary things by putting players in boots when they sprain their ankles, knee braces, or different things like that. So I really didn't think much of it.
Well, Terry Davis yesterday basically said, oh, man, I said, how worried are you about Ja's shoulder? And Terry basically said to me, almost verbatim, he said, man, I ain't worried about nothing. He said, you know how the Grizzlies are. They just holding him out. He'll be out. He'll be ready to play against Dallas on Tuesday.
Because initially they said he was questionable. So I was like, okay, cool.
I know, that's right.
He's questionable. All right, cool. They just got the sling on his arm just to make sure he's good. He doesn't hurt himself again. And then once they said that he tore his labrum, I'm like, well, dog, there was your guy that's supposed to take you to the play-in, and he's out. So now it's just it's been mentally it's been very conflicting because I have always been a proponent of if you're not going to be good, trade your assets to get better assets so that you can set yourself up for future deals. But then in that same breath, the Grizzlies are only 4.5 games back from play-in spot at number 10. And so that's kind of where I'm at. It's still way too early for me to even thinking about the draft, but I I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want them to go out here and just start tanking games.
Right.
Because, we don't have.
Okay. See, this is where I just want to ask you, and I kind of push back, and I'm just kind of curious. I don't know how I think it would be harder to perceive that you're not taking games. They were 6-19 without Ja. You just lost him again. Like, what makes you think that it's going to get any better?
I just think I think they found a little bit of a rhythm.
I mean, they found a little bit of a rhythm in the fourth quarter the other night without Ja, but for 3 quarters, it wasn't looking very good.
Right, and the thing is that they're 500 on the road, but they're 3-13 at home. So, I'm judging this based off of the road performances that they have had so far this season. I think they have enough talent to get wins. The question is like, do you want them to win so many games to get themselves out of the lottery situation? And for me, I'm more on the fence of, if this team is bad like everybody said it's supposed to be, then naturally they will be in the lottery.
Yeah.
But if they, for some strange reason, get on some type of hot streak run and they are like sniffing at the play-in, like, I think you gotta let them get in the play-in if that's the case. Now, I would say if there's offers out there where you can get a better return for a player, I would entertain it.
Sure.
I would entertain it. Like, if I'm not saying that this is gonna happen, but I'm saying, like, if Luke Kennard is somebody like willing to, give up a protected first. I'm just saying that that's just a hypothetical. A protected first for Luke Kennard. I am thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting and contemplating about it. And then, if there's like some, young player that you can say, okay, well, or some veteran that you say, okay, like they could play a role on the team. I would contemplate about getting that, because then you're setting yourself up again to kind of putting yourself in the mode of going out and trading for another big time player to help win now with Ja, Dez, and Jaren. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think if the team is bad as a lot of people say that it is, then naturally they will be in the lottery. But I wouldn't be upset if they start to get on a hot streak if that's the case. But we'll see.
We'll see, definitely. Getting on a hot streak. They won 2 in a row. They beat the Lakers. They beat the Suns. They looked terrible for 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter they found against the Lakers. Fourth quarter they found against the Suns. Tonight they're on the road in Dallas against the Mavericks. The game is about 7:30. They're a 9-point dog currently. You think they can go out there and get 3 road games in a row?
Probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have a masterclass performance by Des Bane. Like, he's back at home. Well, he's back in his college town. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he says, "Nah, we're gonna win this game tonight." So, because I think no Santi tonight as well. They said he's doubtful, but I think doubtful equals out to me into the Grizzly organization. Like, so I think he's not playing. Jaren is questionable, so he might play.
Jaren's a game time decision.
Yeah.
So
Santi's doubtful, so he's not playing.
Yeah, so he's not playing. So I don't know what else to tell you, man. Like, it's just like the hits just keep on coming with this team, and you at this point you just want to get. I mean, like. For a lot of 2K players, you probably just want to sim the rest of the season, just like start over again in October again. So I don't know, but I don't think they'll win tonight, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're back in it again.
So they come back home against the Clippers. Damn.
Yeah, that's Friday.
Not working.
Yeah, that's Friday night.
At least I got a team in LA.
It's like 1, 2, 3 back to back to back. What's it? Friday, Saturday, then Monday. Or Friday, Sunday, Monday, something like that.
I think Friday,
it's a busy weekend.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I can tell you because I just pulled it up. They play L.A. on Friday. Saturday, they play the New York Knicks.
Yeah, and then Monday.
And then Monday, you get the Golden State Warriors.
Whoa. I don't know. I don't know if that's right.
I'm not a fan.
No, I can tell.
Can
we see Draymond in that game?
Maybe. We're hearing a lot from Draymond.
We are.
By the way, I got to say, man, Dre yesterday, I thought, I watched a little bit of your...
the podcast?
A little bit of the podcast. I thought he was very, very mature.
That's what, yeah.
And was
I told you that
very
yesterday.
Logical and
Thank
on
you, John.
point.
I'm glad to hear you say this.
Like when he was talking about how when he heard that people were blaming, saying that Steph Curry wasn't a good leader because of my antics, he's like, that hurt me to my core.
It was an impressive interview.
It was a
podcast, not interview.
I'm telling you, it was very impressive. Draymond Green's gonna have one hell of a career in TV when he's off the court. He is. You watch.
I mean, can we give him his Golden Globe right now? Like, can we?
Hey, man, it was good.
Can we give him his EGOT right now? Like, give him all four. Like,
I mean, hey.
I think, man, look. I understand. Like, people can have a revelation within themselves. Like, oh man, like I can't believe I'm really hurting somebody. I do believe that, but in this case, this man has done multiple things.
But he's showing contrition. Like he's contrite. He's upset about his behavior. He's finally realizing it. And I'm gonna just believe, baby.
If it took him to realize that people were criticizing Steph Curry because of his behavior, I got questions. That's all.
I feel you there.
I got questions.
Some of us just grow up a little slower than others.
And that's fair. Everybody's race is different from another. But I got questions if your reason to improve.
What is it, the tortoise and the hare?
Yeah.
It's not how fast you start, it's how you finish.
Yeah.
I got to say, Matas Buzelis does get me excited for the Grizzlies.
Oh, my goodness. You're already looking at...
Yeah, I am. I've looked at two, and they both have the Grizzlies taking Matas Buzelis in the first round with the 6th pick.
I don't know who Matas Buzelis is. Buzelis.
Yeah. Oh, man, he's a good player.
Buzelis.
John, this guy has been all summer projected to be the number 1 overall pick. He's been injured most of the start of the season, so he's been falling down the draft boards. Now he's projected to go 6th to the Grizzlies.
I don't know. He's been injured most of the season. Like,
well, I mean, like 2 months. It's like, and he's come back. He's played really well for G League Ignite.
2 months too many.
Well,
to some Grizzlies fans.
That's a good point. Also, Cody Williams in this draft, brother of Jalen Williams, current Oklahoma City Thunder star.
Is he a hooper like his brother?
He is, but he's also been injured. So I mean, a lot of injuries
come on,
in
man.
this draft.
Come on, man. I know the projected number 1 pick was Alexander.
Alex Sarr, brother of Olivia Sarr.
Olivia Sarr. See, like it's a family reunion.
I don't understand. So NBADraft.net has a way different top 5 than Tankathon does. Tankathon has Alex Sarr number 1. NBADraft.net has Cody Williams number 1. So I mean, who can you trust?
It's still a little early.
Exactly.
It's still a little early. We got kind of let February kind of settle things. And then,
what position do these dudes play?
Sarr is a
center.
Yeah, he's like a center, stretch 4.
5.
Yeah,
all right,
stretch
we
5.
need a center.
He's 7'1", and then Cody Williams.
He got any junk in his trunk?
No, he's very thin. He's a rail guy. He literally looks like Victor Wembanyama or Chet Holmgren. He's tall and lanky.
Yeah.
Matas Buzelis is a 6'10" small forward that can shoot.
All right.
Okay. Is he a lefty?
Oh, good
He
question.
sound like a lefty.
I'll try to get some more information on Matas.
That sound like a lefty.
His
All
NBA
right.
comparison is Franz Wagner.
Hey.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, hey.
There we go. That fits right into what the Grizzlies wanted.
Let's see what Alex Sarr's comparison is.
Probably mobile big or something like that. Like AD.
They don't have a comparison for him. They're slacking.
So right now the Grizzlies, like if you're a fan, are we just now going to pay attention to what Big Body Roddy, what Xavier
Zaire.
Damn, I was about to say Xavier Tillman.
Well, you could have said Xavier. I was just adding the
Either
name.
way.
I wasn't trying to change
Zaire
your
is
mind.
definitely who I'm going to be thinking about. Is that basically what Grizzlies fans are going to be focused on?
Yes.
Can these two guys play in the NBA?
GG.
We might see GG
tonight. Whoa.
We might see him. Because again, like you gonna play LaRavia over Gigi Jackson right now?
I mean, they've showed in the past they will.
Like, please. Please. We need some hoopers.
You need some hoopers.
Well, you know what? I just got to say something. You know, for all the Grizzlies fans right now whose hearts are broken, just come on over and jump on that Tiger bandwagon.
Oh, come on, man. Like, you ain't got to do it that way.
Come on now. There's too much infighting in this city between Tiger fans and Grizzlies fans.
But
can we just kumbaya and love each other for the sake of Penny and the Tigers and for your sanity and watch some good basketball?
It's kind of hard to kumbaya when most of the Tiger fan base was getting ready to exit out the Grizzlies out of the town. Because of a stadium rebuild.
And last night, after that injury, all Tiger fans on Twitter were like, well, too bad for the Grizzlies. Now everyone can just focus on the real team in Memphis, the Tigers.
The
Good
team.
Hey, man, I'm all for that smoke.
Oh, man, it's so toxic, man. Y'all don't need that in y'all
Let's come
system.
together right now.
All over me.
There you go, John.
Oh, that sounds so great.
I don't know if it's all over me. I think it's just over me.
Slowly like that sounds disgusting.
Well,
that song is kind of
you added
nasty.
the all, which really changes everything.
You missed the right now part. You know.
Yeah, but if you
That's
said
true.
to somebody right now, no, man. That's,
But you wouldn't say all over me. You just say over me. You added a couple words.
To make it funny. That's true. That's true. I can't help myself. By the way, what was the greatest name that you saw last night on the football field? Did y'all pay attention? Who had the best last name?
He's the
DB?
DB.
The best last name?
The best last name.
Isn't it Penix?
No.
Isn't
Penix.
the DB from Michigan, number 2?
Is his last? No.
No,
I'm
that's
talking
not-
about Orgy. ORJI.
Wow.
I missed that.
Missed that one.
I missed that one. I definitely
Did
missed
you
that.
see the
I was like, I
box
need
last
this dude's
night at the game where it
jersey.
was Derek Jeter, Stephen A. Smith, Travis
Scott.
Scott, all in the same
Yeah, that
box?
was kind of weird.
Jordan
so
was in
weird.
there.
Michael Jordan was in there.
It's like,
It's so weird.
It's like a weird mosh posh of
the who's who at
Yeah.
the game. It's very weird.
Well, you know, MJ was celebrating. He just, what was it, about 4 years ago, signed a deal with Michigan.
Hey,
They were
Jordan
with
Well,
the
yeah, Jordan Brand. Jordan Brand.
I thought
yeah.
he was just there
and then
gambling.
national championship. No, man.
Now, you can't gamble in Texas yet. The Dallas Mavericks are going to change that. Ain't that right, Zach?
Mark Cuban's got that on the
Yeah.
on the new.
Yeah. I mean, unless they're going to bring Shark Tank on.
Ooh, I like it. Good idea.
They still filming that show?
Yeah,
I think so.
Really?
Nah.
Yeah, they are.
Good show,
Because Cuban's not a part of it anymore. So they're
Well.
still filming it.
Well, now I got to mention back again to the real team. Back to the Tigers.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, man.
I'm just kidding with you.
I
though.
just-
they're 13th in the country.
They
if
are.
You are sad about the Grizzlies, and I'm telling you, if you just want to have some positivity in your life, check out this Tigers. JQ with 2 game winners. Last couple won 7 straight games. You got one of the best college basketballs. Like David Jones is playing at a level as good as anybody in the country right now. You got Naquan Tomlin, who's a high flyer. You got Malcolm Dandridge, who was the most handsy dude in the shake jump, now giving you positive minutes. Like, I mean, you can't help but kind of enjoy this team.
Yeah, that I think much like, and I mentioned this too, Brian, as well. I mentioned this in the past. Like, I think I tweeted out about how FAU, they're too talented to get out to slow starts.
That's right.
Same way with this Tiger team.
Mhm.
I don't like these slow starts.
I don't either.
But in the same breath,
At least they winning.
they're winning games. They're beating the opponent. They're beating the teams that they're supposed to beat. It's not ideal that you got to come down to a Quinterly 3 to win the game, but hey, man, like, inject that in my veins
That's
a
right.
little
I
bit.
guess
you know,
so.
I'm for it. I think, man, defense has to be this team's calling card. I think they're very talented offensively, but the only way they're going to be able to generate points, get out and being at their best is have to be on the defensive side. Now, I know Caleb Mills is out for the year.
Heartbreaking,
man. I hurt for him.
That kid is, man.
He didn't deserve that one.
That's
He
just
didn't.
a tough break. He's
So-
handling it extremely well, though.
Yeah, so you gotta find his replacement in the rotation, but defense has to be their thing. You can't let these inferior teams get out to these strong starts and then you having to be in scramble mode for the next next 25 minutes or so. Like you can't do that. You can't do that. But they have the talent to do that if need to. Ideally, you don't want to be in that position consistently.
You know, sometimes, Have you ever seen? Well, you know what are those bullfighters? They try to get the drama up. You know what I'm saying? Like Tigers, like JQ and the Tigers, the last couple games, they just knew like, oh, y'all don't want to come out and see us because it ain't a ranked team down here. So they had to keep the games close to make you excited, so you don't miss out on all the damn action, bro.
But the issue is like when I went to see them in person against Austin Peay, like Austin Peay was like throwing everything at them, and it was just like
Austin Peay team's fun to watch.
Yeah, they were throwing everything at them.
They sure did.
But it's conference play.
Be honest with you, the last four, Vandy. I mean, since Virginia, if you were going to be just real about this and not joke around anymore, the last four games, and it started with the Vandy game, they have come out to slow starts. Now, Vandy was lights out for moments in that game, and again, you're going to get every team's best punch. But again, the apps, I mean, please, man, like there's just Austin Peay, Tulsa on the road I can get. But you're right, SMU, that first half was terrible basketball by the Tigers, to be truthful.
Like down double digits?
Like, yeah,
like
man.
that?
Down
like,
15.
At the crib?
Yeah.
At the crib? No, that was terrible. But they play the Roadrunners next, and I mean, I'm telling you right now, I saw like a matchup. I think is the matchup predictor thing on the ESPN.
They have the prediction where it tells you like the percentage of
it was like
win.
98-5 or something.
They should win by 20.
They should smoke them.
Literally. On the home floor.
So
I think
everything.
KenPom has it as a 21-point win for the Tigers. So.
Now, I'm curious, though, are the Tigers going to be able to continue to climb in the polls with the schedule that they have left? I mean, you got Texas, San Antonio, Wichita State, South Florida, Tulane, UAB, Rice, Wichita State, Temple. I mean, this is all the way up to February 8th. Tulane again, North Texas. Like, you ain't got jack on the schedule until you play FAU.
I mean, you're gonna move up regardless if you continue to win.
Keep winning,
man.
Just I think that's
winning.
that's the biggest thing. I think that's the biggest thing about this. I guess the poll, the AP poll, the voters. Like, if you're winning, we're gonna continue to move you up until you lose, and then once you start losing, then that's when the free fall happens.
Should anybody ever care about what the net says, or is it the most useless, confusing statistic metric used in sports? Period.
I'm conflicted because when it's beneficial to the Tigers, we're like, yeah, like look at the net. But then now, like for us, it's like, well, like the net hasn't been kind to us. Right?
Dude, SMU is ranked ahead of Memphis in the net. You know that, right?
Yes. It's like almost like what?
What metric tells you that
5
SMU
spots.
should be ranked higher than Memphis?
Let's see what it is today.
It's like I think the Tigers are like 48, and then
Tigers are 48, and SMU is 43.
43, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when you look at the net, I'm just like, this is a metric that I just don't understand.
Yeah, and then
I'm not the brightest person in the world. I've proved that the last 2 days on the radio.
No, it doesn't make sense because again, like if you go look at their opponents that they've beaten, Virginia, Clemson, Texas A&M, all three of those teams are ahead of the Tigers in the net. And so I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, like, okay, like if those three teams are ahead of the net, then why aren't the Tigers up there with them? Because they beat all three of them. You know, it just didn't make any sense. But I guess they factor in style points. I guess the style points come into play with the net.
How about this? Arkansas has now moved to a quad 3 win because of how
Dude, they are terrible. What happened in Fayetteville this year?
Man, I don't know. Good question.
Man.
Damn, I enjoyed thoroughly whipping their ass on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and so did Auburn. What, a 30-point win for them on Saturday?
On the road,
yeah,
man.
it's crazy.
But I'm just saying, I felt like that was going to be a huge win.
I did too. I was really high on this Arkansas team. The problem is,
I mean, you look at Michigan and now the Arkansas win. They look like trash.
They're bad wins now. The thing with Arkansas is they relied so much this offseason on bringing in mid-major guys to supplement the roster. I mean, you can go down that roster. It's literally an AAC All-American team. I mean, it's fun to watch. I like those players, but I mean, those guys just haven't been able to come together yet.
Shorty McShorts, is he safe over there?
Yeah, I think he's fine.
Eric Musselman.
Yeah, Muss.
Hop on the Muss bus. The Muss bus keeps on rolling.
When he jumps up and starts freaking out, and then I see one of the players walk by and almost like knock his, just accidentally like hit him in the eye or poke his eye out. Like, it scares me. I'm like, damn, you might need to get on a stool, step around them big boys.
John, I'll tell you a fun team to watch. I might need to put up my bulletproof glass before saying this. Kentucky, fun team to watch. They play tonight against Missouri. Maybe keep an eye on that one.
We'll talk some more college basketballs, but guess what? Aaron Rodgers is on Pat McAfee.
Right now?
The day after
Wow.
Jimmy Kimmel
How about
roasted
that?
him in a monologue. We're going to talk about that on Hardwood on the other side. Don't forget to follow. Golly. I was going to say call Zach and Rack City.
Zach, it's been a rough speaking day for John. He's struggled.
My brain is not connecting. Like, I'm thinking it, but my mouth ain't working.
Your tongue and your brain are not
like your
connected to
brain
each
bone's
other.
not connected to your shoulder bone.
There you
know,
go.
You know, Jameis Winston style.
That's right. Respectfully, though.
Follow Zach at Rack City Zach. Listen to him 7 to 11 Monday through Friday. Y'all don't touch the dial. Hardwood is next on Sports 56 98.5 FM.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. Then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
Let's wait until spring to put our house on the market. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Benstorff Realtors, and I've heard that before. Yes, spring is beautiful. The azaleas are in bloom, and so are the real estate signs. More flowers mean more signs. To me, right now is the best time to go on the market. Yes, even during the holidays and the winter months, because the housing inventory is lower, and buyers just don't have the selection available that they would in February, March, and April. If you or someone you know is thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers. Find out what they think about your house, but more importantly, what they will do for you. Make sure I'm one of the ones you call to find out about my highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and win. Remember what they say. When you want the job done, call the worst golfer in town. Call me, Sheldon Rosengarten, at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. That's MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546, and go Tigers.
Hey folks, Rich Eisen here. So this football season's really heating up, and the guys on my show, they're having a blast with Prize Picks. And now with basketball season in full swing, they're able to pick combo projections across both sports. Join them on prizepicks.com/primetime. Easy gameplay and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what they tell me makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. And right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Brockman is loving that aspect. He's hooked. And all you need to do is visit prizepicks.com/primetime and use code primetime. That's code primetime at prizepicks.com/primetime for a first deposit match up to $100. Don't be left on the sideline this basketball season. Go to Prize Picks. Daily fantasy sports made easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
All the wisdom of the universe is in these bones.
Now back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio, hanging out with Brian Dacus. Again, big thanks to David Cobb of CBSSports.com. We talked all things about Michigan's national title run, Washington, Michael Penix Jr.'s draft stock. We talked it all earlier in 11:30 his first hour. Big thanks to Zach Boyd. We talked about Ja Morant. He's got a torn labrum. And now some labrums can heal in, 4 to 12 weeks by themselves. It's due to a dislocation, so that's probably why he's having to have surgery. It will end his season, but he'll be back better than ever. Is that how we're going to? He'll be
back and better than ever,
John. He'll be back and better than ever.
That's right.
You count on it, Grizzlies fans. Grizzlies on the road tonight. They do play Dallas. They're a 9-point favorite. 9-point dog currently. This show just continues. I'm telling you, I had COVID and I have brain fog or something. I must have. But we also had some breaking news during the show. Mike Vrabel was fired by the Tennessee Titans.
This is an insane story.
All right, I'm ready for it.
So supposedly the idea all along was going to be that the Titans were going to trade Mike Vrabel to the Patriots. But Diana Rossini is just tweeted out and said the Titans believed trading Vrabel was too complicated and would take too long, per sources. They wanted to move on quickly. I was told Vrabel never asked ownership for a trade or asked out of Tennessee. So this was all the front office, wanted to move off of him, supposedly, and but they thought that trading him would be too complicated.
That is interesting. That is a very Titans thing to do. Do you think, though, if Bill Belichick leaves, do you think Vrabel's the guy that's going to replace him in Foxborough?
I do.
Do you really?
I think he's going to have a lot of offers. I think he's become one of the top candidates to replace anybody in the NFL. I saw that somewhere on
he's a hell of a coach.
He's a great coach. But I do think his ties to New
England. He's the third winningest coach in Titans history.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot of offers out there, but I do think his ties to New England are ultimately gonna get him in New England. Except now reports are coming out that Belichick met with everybody yesterday, and he's still going on business as usual. He's supposed to have another meeting at some point, but I'm sure now that Vrabel's very much available, those conversations will move pretty fast.
I'm sure they will. Vrabel, though, out. Tennessee Titans got a lot of stuff they got to figure out this year. Derrick Henry, are they going to bring him back? That was the last year of his contract. He's a free agent this summer. I have a feeling that they aren't going to pay him and bring him back. Ryan Tannehill's in the same situation.
How about him to New England?
Well, it's an upgrade from Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones.
No, King Henry.
Oh.
Or to Dallas. I want King Henry in Dallas. I told them yesterday afternoon, Brett and John, I forgot who brought it up. I said if he signs with Dallas, I will walk in the next day with a Derrick Henry Dallas Cowboys jersey.
All right,
Dallas
Cowboys. So what are you trying to say? Tony Pollard's not enough? Is that what you're trying to say to Memphis fans out there?
No, I love Tony Pollard, but that kind of thunder and lightning punch would be pretty nice.
Yeah, they don't have as much thunder this year with that running game, but I'll tell you one thing.
And he struggles. How many times have you seen Tony Pollard line up on the 2-yard line, try to punch it in, and they can't get it in
Dak
there?
Prescott, though, the way he's playing quarterback and throwing with CeeDee Lamb, third best QBR since Week 11. He's the number one QBR since Week 11?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Do you know who has – all right, so Dak Prescott's playing quarterback out of his mind, correct?
Yeah, he's playing very well.
What he's done with CeeDee Lamb is ridiculous. Playing at a very, very high level. Do you know QBR is actually higher than Dak Prescott since Week 11?
Jordan Love.
He is the number one QBR in sports in the NFL. He's been balling. And you know who plays each other, right?
It's Jordan Love versus Dak Prescott. Brett brought up
the Green Bay Packers versus the Cowboys.
Yeah, but I mean, you know.
It's also Mike McCarthy coaching his old coach.
That's right. I love that.
His old damn team.
Yeah, no.
Said coach.
Yeah, it's tomato, John. Brett brought up a bunch of stats from the first year, rookie year for Aaron Rodgers, rookie year for Brett Favre, and now rookie year for Jordan Love. And like the stats are incredible the year that Jordan Love's having, and nobody's really talking about it.
Shoot, I'm telling you all about it right now.
Oh, I know you are, but I'm saying national media, John. I don't know. None of these are shots against you, John.
Jordan Love's been balling. You got to admit, man, since they jacked Brett Favre from the Atlanta Falcons, sobered him up, and got him playing good, they figured it out. Hey, bring in a stud, let him sit for 3 years, learn behind Brett. Aaron was great. Bring in Jordan Love, let him sit behind Aaron. Now Jordan Love's great. Kind of working for him. Worked awesome. I mean, sometimes it's great for a quarterback to be able to, go out there and sit for a little bit. Remember Pat Mahomes' first year?
Yeah.
Didn't start till the very last game of the season.
That's right.
Because Alex Smith was the starter in Kansas City. And look how things are working out with them. Thrusting them into the position sometimes, like the Bryce Youngs of the world, not a good look, especially when you're offensive line. But if you're C.J. Stroud, you can help DeMeco Ryans go take the Houston Texans from worst to first in less than a year. Bing, bang, boom. Since they drafted him, they're in the playoffs. But the weird thing is that team's got to play the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
And this gets to me to my next question. Comeback player of the year. You mentioned Damar Hamlin.
He's betting favorite right now.
He's the betting favorite.
I want to see what the lines look like now.
Yeah, pull them up because this is good for me because I was thinking about this. I was saying Joe Flacco. My man came from the damn streets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
To help lead Cleveland, this organization. They lost Deshaun Watson. It's all over. They have such a great defense. Yachty, 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 and then they were screwed. They had P.J. Walker playing quarterback. They had a bunch of bums. And then all of a sudden, Joe Flacco comes out off the couch and has been lights out. You got to give him tons of credit. But has he been better than actually Baker Mayfield?
Good question, John.
I mean, Baker Mayfield, his first year in Tampa, got them to the playoffs. Now, you can sit there and say, well, Baker Mayfield's he's playing in the NFC South. Well, Tom Brady was playing in the NFC South last year.
That's right.
Same damn record. Did you know that?
I did know that, yeah.
Same damn record with Tom Brady the season prior to this year with Baker Mayfield. Tampa Bay, 9-8 on the season in the postseason, and they're hosting the Eagles, who have fallen apart. If Baker Mayfield wins a playoff game, I mean, I'm starting to lean Baker Mayfield. I can't believe I'm saying that.
John, they have taken down the odds for comeback player of the year and for all of the awards.
Losers. So now I can't bet on it because it's too close to the end of the season.
I guess so.
Because the end of the regular season's already over.
All right, so this was on January 2nd.
Okay.
This is from sportsbettingdime.com. Ooh. Damar Hamlin, as of January 2nd, is minus 143.
Damn.
Joe Flacco is plus 103. And Baker Mayfield is plus 1,400.
If I could have gone back in time, I think I would have had to sprinkle a little magic on Baker.
I think so.
They probably won't give it to him, though. A former number one pick, can they give a comeback player of the year award to a former number one pick?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's still comeback there if you really struggle and then, bounce back, but I don't know. Baker Mayfield, his has really, it's come back down to earth. It was way up there for a minute, and now it's coming back down to earth.
All right, we have got to take a little bit of a Hardenwood exit now. I got to tell you about Tito's, best vodka in the whole dead gum world. Tito's, when life hands you lemons, just make a lemon drop. Make sure it's always with Tito's handmade vodka. Let's go to Hardenwood.
This is Access Hardenwood.
The University of Michigan won the Natty. And then people back in Ann Arbor went buck wild. They were burning couches. I don't understand why people want to climb the lights, like up a pole. Like, what does that do for you? Like, when you get up on top of the pole, you also got to figure out how to get back down.
You feel like you're on top of the world, John.
Or you just must be drunker than Cooter Brown.
Well, that too.
But they were climbing the lights. There was also pictures of stealing, tearing down stop signs and carrying stop signs down the street.
I like it.
Why, when somebody wins and you get a bunch of people together, do we have to destroy stuff?
That's a good question. We're a riotous bunch, I guess.
Man, your generation is crazy, man. Like, how
Oh,
can't
my
y'all smoke a little
generation.
weed and drink some beers, some Tito's?
Yeah, that doesn't do enough for us, John. We gotta do more.
Gotta go and destroy stuff
That's right.
with your little vape pens.
Uh huh. What flavor you got, John?
I don't vape, man.
That's what everyone asks.
I don't vape. Is that what people ask now? Is
What kind of flavor you got?
what do you have, different flavors?
Oh yeah, John. You got my buddy does the vape. He has like watermelon ice or like blueberry bonanza. I mean, they've
I
all
would
got
not
stupid
be
names.
caught drinking something that said, what did you say, watermelon ice?
Watermelon ice, yeah.
Man, please.
That's right.
Please. Now, I've been wondering.
Unicorn sunshine.
I've been sitting here looking at Aaron Rodgers for like 10 minutes.
But you can't hear what he says.
And of course, I can't hear what he says because I am excited and I want to hear what he has to say because Jimmy Kimmel came out on Monday night, started swinging on Aaron Rodgers again, and basically let him know he still ain't happy about the whole situation.
Did you listen to his monologue?
I mean, it wasn't like, I don't think it was anything just terrible. You know, he poked fun at Aaron Rodgers' hair.
Well, just it wasn't funny.
I know it wasn't
was
funny.
the
It was
problem.
more like he's basically like, I don't know. I guess he's, like I said, he's trying to poke the, like, I think he did it on purpose just to like say, hey, come at me again on Tuesday and I'm still gonna sue your ass.
Well, I listened to something earlier this morning on my way in, and they were going
his wacko beliefs.
They were going through the theories of why it wasn't funny last night. And one theory, and this group is certainly not Aaron Rodgers people, and they were because they wanted
about
it to be
how
funny.
serious this stuff is.
Well, they wanted it to be funny. They wanted him to like make fun of Aaron Rodgers and be really funny, and they were like, it just wasn't. It fell flat. Why was it? And so the two theories were, one, all of this has to go through lawyers and everything, especially when it's this tense. I mean, they've got to vet it through everybody, and maybe it just got super watered down because they didn't want anything to come back. Because also, I mean, these guys are in the same company. All of this is owned by Disney, the Pat McAfee Show and Jimmy Kimmel Show. The second one is that maybe like it got so personal for Jimmy Kimmel that he just could not. Like it messed with him so much that he could not make it funny.
Well, yeah, because I thought he was going to cry at one point when he was talking about his family.
Because the people I was listening to this morning, they went back to Chris Rock, and when all that stuff Chris Rock happened with Will Smith, that Chris Rock, after like a year, came out with his special, and everybody was going to watch it because they knew he was going to address Will Smith. And when he starts talking about Will Smith, he just like continues to just like repeat what he was saying, and it wasn't funny, and everything fell flat. And everyone was saying, well, it's because he was like so hurt personally by what happened that he just like could not make it funny. And people are thinking that's what happened last night.
Wow, that is that's just. But the thing is I'm not even going to get any more. I'm just waiting to get off the air and go. Hopefully, Aaron
I wonder if
Rodgers
anybody's
poked the
tweeted
bear.
anything about it yet.
Check it out, because I got to also tell you all. You know about Tyreek Hill's mansion catching on fire, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how much damage that fire caused?
I mean, I would guess a lot.
Yeah, they are estimating it being $2.3 million in damages.
Holy cow.
That is rough.
John, this is a quote.
Uh-oh.
From
Did Aaron Rodgers fire back?
Hold on. It's a 6-minute video. I can't watch the entire video. Supposedly, this is a quote from what Aaron Rodgers said today. Quote, "I'm not stupid enough to accuse you," talking about Jimmy Kimmel, "of that," which would be pedophilia, "without evidence, concrete evidence."
Oh my gosh, he doubled down?
He doubled down is what it sounds like.
Dude, he's trying to get sued.
It sounds like it.
Man bun, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, Awful Announcing also tweeted that out, so he definitely said that.
So we're going to have more, a little bit more of the war between the former Man Show host and Man Bun himself. So Jimmy Kimmel, Aaron Rodgers, they are going at it. wild stuff. We are late for a break already, but I did want to say, did you know Jake Paul was into politics?
Oh Lord, no. Which one's Jake Paul? I get him confused.
He's the young one.
He's the one that boxes. Right?
Yeah, he's the boxer.
Okay, the other one is a WWE wrestler.
Oh, Logan.
Logan is.
Logan.
Yeah, but I always get him confused.
Well, my man put out on his little YouTube and his Twitters and his TikToks and all those good things. He says he's with Vivek.
Interesting.
And he says to all the Gen Zers, man, come on out and vote, bro. And he's with Vivek.
Interesting.
No big deal. I could care less. Trying to think. Jake Paul. Has he got a fight coming up soon?
I think so. Or he just fought somebody, I think.
I will say one thing. I gotta admit, that kid can make some money, can he?
Yeah, no, he certainly knows what he's doing, and obviously, I mean, he grew up in the lifestyle of social media and being a TV star. So I mean, he certainly knows what he does.
I don't know if I would ever come out and I'm not a TV star, so I don't know. I might have to ask Blake. Damn it, Jake Crane. I was going to call him Blake Crane. Jesus, I've lost my mind.
Well, his brother's Blaine Crane. So,
yeah, but he's not Blake.
That's true. I mean, Blake.
I've lost my... Basically, I was going to say, I don't know if you would want to come out and say you supported anybody, because I don't want anybody to not like me and eat up my product.
Well, I don't think there's many people that like Jake Paul right now, so I mean, I think...
But hey, being not liked works for him.
Exactly, and so I think for him, when he does something like this, it's like, most everybody already doesn't like me, so it's not like anybody's going to say anything they haven't already said, and he has a very loyal supporting group. And so for those loyal supporters, they're going to ride with him no matter what. So I think that's more of it. I mean, but this guy, TV star, ended up doing a bunch with YouTube, Vine, that stuff. He knows what he's doing in terms of marketing.
He is ridiculous. We got a little basketball to bet on the other side. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. Be sure to schedule your delivery for the next game at hogsfly.com or come visit us in the alley.
We all appreciate luxury. We love the newest technology. We want something that sparkles and looks great. Well, I've got it all in one place. It's called Genesis of Olive Branch, right at the corner of Highway 78, that's Lamar, and the first exit in Mississippi, that's Craft Road. Turn left and you will see Genesis of Olive Branch. And right now, you can get the 2024 Genesis GV70 starting at $49,480 with special financing as low as 3.49% on select models. How about the 2024 Genesis GV80? A little bit bigger, starting at $55,995, financing as low as 5.49% with a $2,000 rebate when trading a luxury brand. Call them. They'll even bring you a Genesis at your work or your home for a test drive. They're convinced that when you drive a Genesis, you're going to want one. Call 662-890-6684. Ask for Vinny. Genesis of Olive Branch.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like saddling up and chasing down.
Look at that sweet moolah!
That big old cash cow.
Look at all that money!
File for free with TaxSlayer Simply Free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass. For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
The only power source capable of generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity is a bolt of lightning.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. Randy, shots fired over at Brian Dacus' area. He said Mike McCarthy's going to do the same thing for Dallas this weekend that he did in Green Bay.
Randy!
Find a new way to cost this team a W.
And Randy, if that happens, Dallas is getting a new coach.
No, that is true.
Mike McCarthy, count your days if you're going to lose your old team.
Man, I don't know, man. Mike's done such a good job this year. I mean, hey.
If it was any other owner, I'd say he's fine, but he is under a man named Jerry Jones who waits for nobody.
Yeah, I mean, he ran off Jimmy Johnson for Barry Switzer. Crazy stuff. But again, this team is ready to rock and roll.
And also hates Jimmy Johnson.
Well, he's letting him in the Ring of Honor now.
Yeah, I don't think he's too happy about it.
Well, I mean, everybody's telling him he's got to do it. He's got to do it. People, eventually you got to do it. You got to do it. But tonight we got a little basketball. If you still have that gambling itch, well, let me help you scratch it. I was looking at the Missouri-Kentucky game. Kentucky is a 12.5-point favorite at home against Missouri. They're the 6th-ranked team in the country. Mizzou, we've seen them when they played the Tigers. You saw how the Tigers took care of them at their house, especially clamping down on defense. Now, when I look at Kentucky, their guards have some speed out the frizz aim. Like, they can get up and down. Oh, and their bigs can get up and down. And also, that one big kid can shoot it from three strokes. You know about this team a little more because you were excited. I'm thinking in this one, you got to lay the 12.5 with Kentucky, right?
That's a big number. Yeah, I mean, Missouri hadn't been very good. This is a young team, so conference is going to be tough for them at times. But I think at home, Rupp, I think the students are getting back to campus. Should be a good environment, and I really like this Kentucky team.
Now, Auburn's playing Texas A&M. I am taking the Aggies plus the 8 points against Auburn. Now, Auburn has been awesome. The Aggies have been so disappointing this year. Like, they have been absolutely terrible. And if they're going to get it together, they got to get it together now. Their last game, they went out there and lost to LSU. I feel like they've taken a chewing. I feel like they're going to come out, and I feel like they're going to go on the road and compete. And don't be surprised if the Aggies get the upset against Auburn.
I like that, John.
I love it. I love it. This is when Taylor's going to come out, man. Wade Taylor is going to go out there and drop 29 points.
John, may I throw a bet out for you?
Absolutely. I'm going to play it, so tell me what it is.
8 o'clock tonight on ACC Network, Georgia Tech hosting Notre Dame. Notre Dame has not been very good. New coach, a lot of new players on that team. Georgia Tech, on the other side, does have a new coach as well, Damon Stoudemire, who a lot of Memphis fans will remember. He was on staff here for a long time, went out to Pacific or Pepperdine, one of those schools out there, and really did a good job at a very tough school to have success at. He's now the head coach at Georgia Tech. His team's playing really, really well. You can get them as a 6.5-point favorite. I really like that against a struggling Notre Dame team.
I love it, man. That's awesome. So we got Notre Dame, just a touch on Kentucky, and then take Texas A&M in the Plains down against Auburn. The Natty goes to Michigan, and my brain is gone. I lost on Washington yesterday, but for Bryant Dacus, I'm John Harden. Get out there, make the world a better place. See you on the flip side. Peace.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure